The next speaker that we have today with us is Mr. Gaurang Patel. Now, Gaurang Bhai की बात करें तो Gaurang Bhai is a postgraduate in mechanical engineering from LD College of Engineering. So, and he has many more accolades to his credential. I will put it that way. He is right now working as a consultant at Ahmedabad in one of the renowned consulting firm. Uh, he started with Ishre Ahmedabad as a student member way back in 2010, and from then onwards his journey has actually started with Ishre Ahmedabad. He went into different committees. He was always a part of CWC. He has taken various roles and responsibilities. He is also one of the experts in today's date. He is on the technical committee for desert cooling. If I'm not wrong, Gaurang bhai, please correct me.
District cooling.
District cooling, right?
District cooling.
So Gaurang bhai is going to talk on the today's technical topic with us, with the members who are here to attend this particular webinar of today. But before I give it to Gaurang bhai, let me tell you one thing, guys, that we have a few more members who are there with us who had joined Ishre Ahmedabad chapter as a student member, and today they are part of CWC or they are working as full-fledged professionals in HVAC industry. One of them is Gaurav. One of them is Mr. Siddharth Bhai, Siddharth Vyas, who is again working as a consultant today. Uh, we have we don't have Mr. Gaurav Bhai right now with us, but he is also part of CWC with us, and he's working uh, in the program committee today. I mean, if we look at the current CWC of Ahmedabad, we have around 50% of the CWC members who had been somewhere or the other joined ISHRE as a student member, and today they have made their careers in HVAC industry, and they are full-fledged members of ISHRE Ahmedabad chapter also. So with that, I invite Gaurang Bhai to please take it forward from here. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Sunil bhai. Uh, Always whenever I come in front of the students, I always uh, be very glad because once upon a time, as Aditi also mentioned, Sunil bhai mentioned, I was part of you guys. Uh, if I recall my days, like when I was pursuing my master's degree in 2007, I had joined ISRO Ahmedabad chapter as a student member. There was a similar event organized by ISRO Ahmedabad chapter as a career opportunities in HVAC and R, and somehow that has given me some insight to me that this is a field where I can make my career. And uh, I joined as a student members, and step by step, this industry, I can say, ISRE has supported me at each and every step of my life, because that has given me a visions, that has given guided me on a various steps at how to grow in this particular field. And today I am working as a independent consultant, uh, uh, and currently holding a good position into ISM the chapter. Like people, the members of ISM the chapter has trusted me to be a president elect for current year. So we also would like to see similarly, we have more than 50% CWC members are coming from student members. So similarly, we would like to see faces from the current group to be as a future generation of the ISM the chapter. Now let's to come to the main technical topic. What uh, of today's presentations. So the target was I was given a topic to speak on basics of HVAC and R. It is quite a big topic for me, I can say, because what to cover, what not to cover. Then I because I was given a half an hour time. So I tried to uh, brief myself into quite efficient way, but maybe I will not be able to justify the various points. Still, I will try to give a good pictures where like you guys have a at least an uh, idea like what exactly we guys are doing in HVAC&R. Okay, so basically, like when say we say HVAC, what it terms may be like it covers heating, ventilations, air conditioning. These three component we are dealing with. We are doing heating, we are doing ventilations, we are doing air conditionings. Heating in our areas are quite nominal, except in a few areas like Ladakh and other part, we do not have any requirement of heating. Now, when I say air conditioning, when I suppose think of doing a air conditioning for any of the room or any of the area, any of the clusters, what I will control. Can I make this session little interactive? Can I ask a question someone like if I supposed to do a air conditioning, what parameter I will control? You can unmute and answers.
They can go wrong with they can actually type in the chat box because it won't be
Okay,
possible for them to unmute.
okay, sure. So you can type in the chat box, and I will. Let's say we do one thing like because of limitation of time, I will go skip that particular one. When I say air conditioning control, so it will control the basic one is the temperature that we know very well, because whenever you touch your remote of the air conditioning, you always see the what is the temperature to be kept: 25, 27, 22, 18. That is up to you. Uh, Now, secondly, we control humidity. In case of normal current conditions, you never feels humidity, but in case of monsoons time, in the month of June, in the month of September, August, you always feel a lot of humidity around you. And whenever you are sitting into air conditioning space, you won't feel the humidity. So by doing air conditioning, we do control humidity, and humidity and temperature both together combinedly provides the comfort parameters required. Okay, so what is that the comfort parameters? 25-degree temperatures plus 55% RH. This is like normal comfort zone of anyone's. Now, apart from that one, we also try to cover control the airflow around you, because the higher air blowing around you or lower air blowing around you always give you a uh, okay. Uh, Someone is raising the hand, but you can put your questions in the chat box so that we can take up in the end. So another one is airflow. So airflow is like what we try to control into air conditioning is like the air blowing around you provides you comfort. For example, like if you're sitting in a like windy areas, you want to be comfortable. So you want to be able to work properly. To work properly, you will be require a very mild airflow. Secondly, the same case is with your own comfort also. If you are having a low temperatures, maybe if you are having a AC on, you can experience this one. You can have a AC on, and you keep your ceiling fan on a full speed. Even though your AC will be 25-degree, you will get a quite good cold effect there. Why? Because that airflow and temperature both combinedly plays a different temperature role. So that airflow in around your body should be within a control, so that we are also trying to control with while doing the air conditioning. Then the air quality. Nowadays, this is a very important questions whenever you design any of the buildings. We need to comply certain codes also. And we National Building Code of India 2016, then ASRAE 62.1. These are the various codes. Some of the codes we need to comply while doing the air quality or ensuring the good air quality within your design space. Air pressures. So pressure within the building. Okay. This becomes very critical when you are designing a hospitals, when you are designing a pharmaceutical industries, because like just give you an example, like if you just think of a OT area, operation theater area, okay, uh, where like a person is being operated. So what kind of air pressure should be there? It should be negative, or it should be positive. When I say positive or negative room pressures, so what will happen is that room will be positive, means the air from the room will go out. And if I say room is negative, then air will from the surrounding rooms comes inside your room, because your room is negative. So if your OT area, if it is negative, if your OT area is negative, what will happen? Surrounding your OT area, whatever the areas may be, maybe your patient lobby is there, maybe other areas are there, from that areas which are not clean, we are not they are not clean compared to OT, and from that areas that air will suck into the OT areas, and that air may get into involved into the patient's body, which is being getting the patient who is getting operated there. What will happen afterwards? We know the seriousness of about this one. If that someone's body is open and it get impacted by some other viruses or other bacteria which is from the other rooms coming inside the OT, what will the resultant will be? We are not sure of. So to avoid that one, the OT area, the operation theater areas are always kept under positive pressures, so that the clean air will go out from the OT areas, but no dirty air from other areas will enter into OT. This I'm giving one example. Similarly, this is very important when we are manufacturing the pharmaceutical drugs and many other applications. So air conditioning is also maintaining this kind of process requirement also, with the help of maintaining the balancing the airflow. These are the 5 key parameters which you will find into your textbook also. Apart from that one, I always like to add fire safety as one of the important part of the air conditioning design. I will cover into some of my slides. And one more is energy efficiency. Nowadays, like as Aditi has explained, the India cooling plan shows like a tremendous growth plan in the air conditioning industries. And air conditioning industries, air conditioning in any of the building takes care of around 50 to 60% of the load. So if we don't be energy efficient into that particular segments, we will be rising our energy requirement in such a rapid speed that we won't be able to live accordingly, because the more the power we generate, more the CO2 we generate. So we need to be energy efficient. So that is one of the key attentions of any of the system we select or design or anything. Okay. Now let's say just to give you an idea of air conditioning. So we think that air conditioning is like from last 1 decade or so, where like in 1902 Mr. Carrier has invented VCR cycles, and he has made a first air conditioning, not VCR cycle, but he has invented the first air conditioners. And from where like people started using the air conditioning, and today like after like one decades, it becomes a big from luxury to it becomes a necessity. So it is not only 1 decade game. You can see any of these pictures, and these pictures are quite old as far as our history. And all these particular pictures, whether you see temples, whether you see Jaipur Hawa Mahal, you see a simple hut which is being constructed in the old time. These are being taken care with the your air conditioning requirements. When I say air conditioning requirements, is not only cooling. Try to understand that one. When I say air conditioning, is I'm constructing a area, my premises in a such a way that I can have a comfort atmosphere inside my living areas or where my occupancy is there. Maybe I am constructing a hut. I will make a hut in a such a way that whenever I'm inside my hut, I will be comfortable. So the old people is to make their hut with the help of the material which are not absorbing the heat. You will find sand and lime being used in the manufacturing of the hut. If you see the old structures, they are having a very thick wall of the stone. Okay, and compared to like what we use right now, we either use RCC bricks or red bricks. They are they can transfer heat very easily. Okay, you can see any of the ancient place where like you can see number of jarokhas. And why that jarokhas was kept? to have a proper ventilations. If the ventilation will be there, there will be comfort conditions will be maintained there. Now let's we come to a current one. Now when I as of now in today's scenario, if I need to do a air conditioning of any of the room, what are the various parameters I need to consider? So these are the various parameters, like from where a heat is ingressing inside my room, and I need to remove that heat away from that particular room so that I will get a comfort there. Okay. What is air conditioning is, if I'm trying to do a air conditioning for this area, I had to take it out the heat from this room. Which heat? The heat ingressing inside the room through various sources. Which are the various sources are? They are like wall, glass. Glass will be like your sunlight is coming in from the glass. So there will be solar radiations will be there. There will be a conduction heat transfer will be there. Then floor and roof. Okay, from the flooring, from the roof. Then equipments, various equipments placed inside your room. Maybe your laptop is there, your computer is there, or any other equipments. Okay. Uh, Depends on your type of applications. The number of occupant inside the particular room is like single persons one there, or 4 persons are sitting there, or 10 persons are sitting there. Amount of outside air is being entering into the room, the leakage, the processes. These are the various parameters which are through which the heat enters into your room. And through air conditioning equipment, we are supposed to leak it out on that particular room. So these are the less given the various applications. I'm just skipping this one as of now. Uh, when I say IAQ, I had said like where like we are having a ASA 62.1 and NBC 2016 that specify the various specific requirement of indoor air quality. To maintain the indoor air quality, what we are supposed to do? We are supposed to take some specified amount of fresh air from outside and in, circulate inside the room. What happens normally, what we do whenever I start my AC, I close all my windows or my doors, and I try to close every opening of my house so that I do not lose air conditioners. And when you sit into that particular conditions for a longer time, you are emitting CO2 into the room. If you are sitting in that particular area, if your 5 people are sitting and that 5 people are taking oxygens and they are taking out the CO2, over a period of time, the amount of CO2 will increase in your room. To counterbalance that one, we need to add traces with the fresh oxygen from outside inside your room, such that you will be able to take the proper amount of oxygen while you breathe. And for that, the code has given us some guidelines that we have to follow. Now, what are the various kind of air conditioning systems are with us? Okay, so these are the typical air conditioning like what we have in our home, that is a split AC. Okay, so we had seen this kind of split ACs, which is wall mounted type. We had seen because it's very common to everyone's home. So I should not describe that one. But why it is called split? Why it is called split? Because we are splitting the VCR cycle. I'm not going into basics of VCR cycles. So, but when I say air conditioning is a VCR cycle, there will be compressors, there will be condensers, there will be expansion device, and there will be a evaporators. What we do into split AC, we kept the evaporator inside the room, and we keep the condenser, compressor, and expansion devices outside the room. So we are splitting the VCR cycle. So it is called split ACs. And apart from your normal high wall units, you'll also find this kind of decorative units also there. This is called FCU, this is called cassette units, this is called tower units. Depending upon your room interiors, you can set any one of them. This kind of ACs are available up to 4 ton. Okay, now if I need to have a higher than 4 tons, I can go with the ductable units. So ductable units are like in a capacity of 4 ton to 24 tons. In various stages are available, like 8 tons, 11 tons, 16 tons, 25 24 tons, and that will be ceiling mounted, and then they will be do a ducting, and they distribute the air evenly inside your entire room. This is being used for a bigger offices or bigger spaces like 1500 square feet or 2000 square feet. Okay. But they are also working in the same principle as a split ACs, because they will be having a evaporator here and condenser outside, which is having a housing in the condenser, the compressors and expansion device there. This is a very common pictures we had seen because of the split ACs. Split ACs has one limitation, that the amount of length of piping. So we need to place the outdoor unit very nearby. This is like you had also observed in your nearby spaces when a new building being constructed, they have a very good exterior edge. They are looking very good because the architect has given enough amount of their knowledge and their beauty to the elevations of the building. But slowly when the building is being occupied, people start putting ACs, and that outdoor unit, the dabbas, comes outside the building, and the your elevation of the building slowly get deteriorate one. Okay, why that happens? Because there's a limitation of the amount length of the piping for the split ACs. So what are the way out? The options for that one is a VRF system. Aditi also mentioned into her presentations that currently VRF is being widely acceptable for various offices and bungalow projects for the energy efficient one, and also it can provide a longer piping. It can saves your elevations and everything. So VRF is nowadays like being came into market from last 10 years, but they are being popular very fast, being adopted by the peoples, where you can connect number of outdoor units with the number of indoor units with single outdoor units. And these outdoor units are of variable capacity size, so more energy efficient than your split ACs. Now these are available up to like a single circuit of the VRF is available to 60 ton. If I need to have a more than 60 ton load, I need to go for the multiple number of circuits. Now, what happens if I have a certain load requirement of more than 200 ton? Okay, I have like 150 ton load or 200 ton load. We can have options of air cooled chillers. Okay, guys, I am just taking you through various air conditioning system as of now, not going into details because that requires a lot of time. But I'm just giving you ideas what all you can learn with along with this ISRA fraternities, which is not being covered into your textbooks, but are being practiced by the industries. Okay. So air-cooled chillers are being used for the load requirement of up to 200 ton, 300 tons, where they are being placed on a terrace or open space. And these air-cooled chillers they generate a chill water, and that chill water will be circulated inside your building at various levels, which is maybe a AHU or FCUs. And through that AHU or FCUs, we pass the room air, and that air get cooled one, and we supply into your rooms. So this kind of air cooled chillers are being used for the bigger projects, such for example the hotels or hospitals or malls. So a lot of people are from here, are from Ahmedabad. So the Alpha Mall, if I say, it is a chill water based system. If you see any of the hotels, like the next to the Alpha Mall or Ahmedabad Mall, there's a Hyatt hotel is there. Okay, it is also chill water based system is there. So air-cooled chillers are being used for such kind of bigger applications, where you have a chillers, you have a pumps, and you circulate the chill waters to the AHUs and FCUs. And there will be a water-cooled chillers. Okay. Uh, uh, from the professors, can I know these students are from which semesters? They are fourth year.
Yes, mainly they are from final year and some are from second year.
Okay, so those are from the final years. I have like a simple questions for you. In case of air-cooled chillers, like you will be getting some ideas when I talk about the same technical difference between the air-cooled and water-cooled. That when we use a air-cooled, okay. See, if you see any of the air conditioning applications, what happens like when I need to do a cooling inside my room, I need to heat transfer or heat reject outside the room, because that is a heat transfer principles. Okay, there will be a heat source and there will be heat sink. So when I do a VCR cycles, or when I design a air conditioning cycles, my room becomes the heat source. Okay, and the atmosphere become the heat sink. So what I will do, I will pick up the heat from the room, I will do a work with the help of the compressors, and I throw out the heat into the sink, which is my atmosphere. Now how you do that heat transfer is a difference. So up to air cooled chillers, what we has done, like we have a condensers here which is being cooled, because you are throwing out heat in the atmosphere with the help of condensers. So up to air cooled chillers, the all heat transfer happening into condensers, where you are throwing out heat into atmosphere, are by help of the air cooled applications, because the coil will be there and you are passing the air on the coils. So the air is getting heated up and going inside the room, or going in the atmosphere. In case of water cooled chillers, okay, in case of water cooled chillers, what happens, like the condensers is being converted into a water cooled condensers. So instead of the condenser being cooled, doing a heat transfer with the help of air, here they do a heat transfer with the help of the water. Okay, so they becomes more energy efficient, because the heat transfer capacity of air and water, the CP value is almost 4 times different. Okay. Secondly, when I say air cooled heat transfer, like in case of air cooled chillers or VRV, or in the split ACs, that heat transfer is governed by the dry bulb temperatures. Whereas when I do a water cooled chillers, and the water, which is like what happens in the cycle, like the water is being comes into my evaporator condensers here, they do a heat extract from the refrigerant pipe and refrigeration cycles, and that hot water will go to a cooling tower, where the cooling tower, they do a sprinkle of the waters, that and the evaporation happens into cooling towers, and that water is dropping the temperature there, drops its temperature there, and comes back to the cooler chiller. Now that particular process is governed by the wet bulb temperatures, and always the wet bulb temperature is lower than the dry bulb temperatures. So that also increase the efficiency of the water cooled chillers, and hence water cooled chillers are being practiced or being used or selected for all the applications where you have a loads higher than 500 ton. They are available from the 100 ton, but like looking to the complexity of the designs and operations, they are being selected for all the applications where you find the load above 400 500 tons. So the applications where you see that, like a big mall like Ahmedabad mall, if you see, or you see the Hyatt hotels, you see any big hotels of similar natures, they all are working on the water cooled chiller business. Now this is giving a brief comparisons between them, but like not going right now into that part, because that I just give you two parameters here. One is the efficiency here. If you like centralized air conditioning system, you are able to get a power rating of 1 to 1.2 kilowatt per ton. When I say centralized air conditioning system, which is your VRF systems, your air cooled chiller system, your water cooled chiller system, these are the centralized uh, system. So they are like consuming power of 1 to 1.2 kilowatt per ton, and the split ACs are normally consuming the power of 1.3 1.4 kilowatt per ton. So almost 20% higher, 20-25% higher than the central air conditioning system. So as a like good practice, we need to ensure that like we move over a period of time to a central air conditioning system, and that has all other benefit also in terms of the economy of scales, electrical costs, noise, IAQ, life cycle cost, aesthetic, maintenance hazards. They have a other benefit too. Like apart from that one, like one more system is like being practiced into one is like district cooling system. uh, because like why I cover this particular topic here, because I can't describe district cooling system here, but I can give you a brief definitions that in case of district cooling, like in your house, normally what happens, you generate the chill water, you are having your compressors and your evaporators both next to each others. Okay, so outside your room you are putting your compressors, and inside the room you are having the evaporators. So it is like you're generating the cooling effect next to your room itself. Okay, but in case of district cooling, what happens, like this is a complete city, and the cooling for the city is being like generated at one place, and from here a chill water will be generated here. Okay, and then it will be distributed to a various buildings, and the buildings only use the chill waters, circulate back the hot water to the plant, where again that water will get cooled one. And this building pay a bill for AC, the similar one as our electricity bill. That is the beauty of the district cooling plant. And since they are like size for the entire city, they are quite big in nature, and so they are quite efficient also. But like as we go ahead, like with your path with the ISRE, our faculties will ensure that we will cover various topics, and then finally we also will able to cover this one, so that we will get a more detailed what is district cooling system is. Now this was I just a brief on air conditioning side, like where we have various systems. When I say HVAC, ventilation is also one of the essential component. Okay, so where this ventilation comes into pictures. Okay, so like once one of the example is your basement ventilations. Like now number of buildings are coming up with the multiple number of basements. Like if you go into any of the commercial building, you'll find 2 or 3 basements. If you go any of the new residential building, you'll find 2 or 3 basement there. So when you are using your basement area for parking your vehicles, your car, you are driving your car inside your parkings, and then you are generating the SO2, CO2, CO inside that particular space. So that particular space is not remain breathable. So we need to ensure that we remove all CO, CO2, SO2 on a regular basis, so that anybody come inside and can breathe properly. That is one aspect of the ventilations, is like mandatory by the code, and we have to do it. Second part is we need to provide smoke ventilations also. What is smoke ventilations? This particular graph shows you a normal ventilations, where like you are entering the faces here, and then this faces is distributed among the entire basements, and you are throwing out the contaminated air out from here. So you are flushing out the dirty air with CO, CO2, SO2 with the traces, trace air coming from the outside. Okay. Now there is one more aspect associated with this one, is a smoke ventilations. Now just assume any scenario where by any chance, if there is any blast or any fire in any of the car, what will happen? There will be a lot of smoke will be generated inside the basements, and if it's a smoke inside the basement, you are not able to breathe anything, because if you see any of the fire incidents happening around, like nowadays, like if you see last 6 months or 1 year, there was number of fire incidents we had observed. And in that case, the casualties or the loss of life happens mostly because of the not having the proper air to breathe. And why they are not getting proper air to breathe? Because that entire air is, or volume of the room or volume of the area is covered by the smoke. So if you are not able to remove that smoke, the people will not be able to inhale the oxygens. They will inhale the smoke which is contains the CO, and that make them unconscious, and they become unconscious and they lie on that particular state for a longer period of time. They will die. So in a major fires, the casualty happens because of the smokes, not because of the by burning of anybody. And that's why, like as a HVAC engineers, as a we need to ensure that for any of the space, we are able to remove the smoke without very as fast as possible. And that's why, like in the basement areas, which is below ground, if any fire happens, we need to design a basement ventilation system in such a way that we are able to remove the smoke without very faster pace within a next 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, and for that we need to follow the various guidelines provided by the national building codes. Now apart from that one, we also like these are the some of the photos I had taken from the newspapers, where you can see that people are standing outside the balconies because there was fire inside the building. Okay, actually they are standing on the like maybe around 6th or 7th floors outside, and like you can imagine yourself, if you are standing there without any railing, if you are you are this particular guy, how you are feeling, how scared you are, because you are not able to go inside because inside is a lot of smoke, and in front of you there is no railing, but still they had come out and everybody is standing here. Why? Because there was a fire at the basement level or ground level. The smoke went upstairs, and that smoke has trapped inside the top floor, because smoke always get trapped into the higher levels, and from the top levels the smoke was not able to go out, and they all came out of the windows and started standing into the uh, unprotected areas. Okay, uh, this is a very sad incident of Gujarat history. This is a photo of Surat classroom fire one into one of the mall. There was a fire into basement area, and that smoke went into the classroom at the last floor, and the students used to jump from the classrooms. The same incidents, the smoke went inside on the top, and they were not able to breathe, and the students started jumping from the last floor. Now, how we can, as a ventilation engineers, we can control this one? So our national building code has given a guideline for that one, and if we follow that guideline we can do that one. And as a HPC engineers, it's our responsibility that we do a proper design of the ventilation system inside the building. So they had given like a proper guideline, like for the staircase and other areas there should be a passage for air going out, the smoke going out. For example, here they had given a passage for air, the smoke to go out, and they are pumping in the faces. We can take this into more details when we go ahead. Apart from that one, like we also need to ensure that various areas need a regular amount of ventilation air, and the code also defines that one. So that also a part of the ventilation system design. Now I like to touch at the before I conclude, I would like to touch one of the point is like if you see our cities as we are growing, that Aditi also has covered, like Sudhir bhai also showed that we are growing at the rate of 10%, 12%, 14%, the air conditioning industries. So these particular pictures is increasing day by day. Okay, what happens, like you are cooling the inside space and you are throwing out the heat in the atmosphere. So you are cooling the inside area, you are heating up the outside area. Practically, if you see, you are making your room as a heat source and the atmosphere as a heat sink. So you are rising the outside temperature and you are trying to lower down your room temperatures. And that's why we are nowadays experiencing the heat island effect. No doubt, AC is not only one applications because of which heat island effect occurs. There are other parameters too, such as the building constructions, the vehicles, the industries, and a lot of other parameters are there. But we are also one of them. Okay, so that's why what happens, like if you see, the city areas are becomes more and more hotter compared to the what they used to be. Okay, every 2 years, 3 years, your peak temperature rise a bit. I just give you one example. When I'm designing a air conditioning for Ahmedabad, if I follow my code or guideline of the weather data book, this is a 43.8, 43.3 as a peak temperature. But every one of us knows that we or every time experience 45 degree, 46 degree, 47 degree outside. Why it happens so? Because when they had decided taken a call of 43.3 as a peak temperature, and after that the atmosphere temperature has risen up. Once they revise this code, it becomes a 45 degree. Then again it will risen up. We will reach up to 50 degree. But how long we will be able to survive with this particular rate? We will not be able to survive with this particular rate. So at these particular junctions where industry is practicing current systems, the young mind coming from the colleges, they are always having a innovative ideas into them, and we seek, the society seek a support, a service from you, such a way that upcoming generations, it ensures that whatever technology they use, it will be sustainable. It will not increase the global warming, it will not increase the ozone depletions, it will be a sustainable growth should be there. Okay, otherwise we have a very limited natural resources, and right now we are burning off them. Okay, so just to support this one, ISRO Ahmedabad chapter has started with one challenge, which we proudly always say as a 1 degree challenge. What we do into this particular challenge, you can also start, because today is a World Environment Day, and I can request everyone of present here that you accept this challenge and pass on to others. Now, what is this challenge is, whatever the temperature you are using with, uh, do we have Siddharth available, Aditi?
Yes, we have Siddharth, and we will keep one session for him after
Okay,
your
great.
session.
So I will not take much time on this one, but I will say ISRO Ahmedabad chapter has started 1 degree challenge in a way of taking the supporting our environments and keep this earth, our mother earth, for our future generations too. So our ISRO Ahmedabad team will give you more brief on that one. So with this one, I would just like to end up my session here, because it was too short time. I was taken some more time also. So thank you everyone. If any question is there, Gaurav bhai, I would like to take that one. If
Yes,
any.
sure. Thank you very much. Actually, what we do after this your session, we'll invite Siddharth, and Siddharth will introduce 1 degree challenge, and then after we'll take question and answer session, and then
Sure.
we conclude.
Yes.
Right?
Sure.
Okay. Before going further, I'll like to invite Siddharth Vyas, who is working on the promoting 1 degree campaign that was designed at the our own ISRO Ahmedabad chapter in before 2 years. And this is not only this campaign is not only limited to India; it is also international campaign. So I invite Siddharth Vyas to introduce this campaign and introduce how energy saving can be possible and its positive impact of this challenge. Thank you.
Well, hello everyone. Good afternoon. I hope am I audible.
Yes, Siddharth.
Okay. So we had a session with Miss Aditi, who is our president, and President-elect Mr. Gaurang Patel, sir. I'm working under him, and he has tremendous experience in this field, and we all can learn from him. So a big thanks to Aditi ma'am and Gaurang sir. Now coming to what I have to present. See, first of all, I'll be showing you a video uh, that is prepared by our ISRO Ahmedabad team. Let us add some music to it. We have been going through our presentations. So just a minute. So is my screen available?
No, please share your screen. You have to select manually.
Yes, yes, we are able to see your screen.
It is
You can play.
visible. Yes. Without.
So ISRO Ahmedabad chapter video, is it visible?
Yeah.
No,
One
so you
degree
have to
campaign by ISRO
No,
Ahmedabad
video
chapter.
is not visible. You
video
have
is not
to switch the tab.
We are able to see your folder, Siddharth.
Okay. Just a minute.
You will again have to share your screen.
Yeah.
Got
Is
it.
it visible now?
Yes.
Yeah, now it's visible.
Okay.
So that since you are on mute, we cannot hear the audio. You have to unmute yourself.
Siddharth? Uh, Siddharth, do one thing, please. Again, play the video because we had lost the music.
Sure.
Don't mute yourself. Siddharth, don't mute.
So yes, this was the video. So basically the thing is, 1 degree campaign is about a request that we make people to raise the temperature of their air conditioners by just 1 degree Celsius. This allows us to save 6% of the energy of what our air conditioners consume. Say हर 1 किलोवाट आवर जो हम कंज्यूम करते हैं उस पे 1 पाउंड कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड जनरेट होता है जो एटमॉस्फेयर में रिलीज किया जाता है पावर प्लांट्स के द्वारा. So to reduce this, we can just do our bit by raising 1 degree Celsius and save our environment and be contributors to our environment in saving it. So next thing is you can join ISHRE and learn how to behave, how to know how to network with the people who are eminent persons in their respective fields. So for that we have been here to just to say we have students like Harish Arora, Harsh Somaiya, Krunal Parikh, Levent Yilmaz. सो इन लोगों को अगर मैं नाम से जानूंगा, अगर आप लोग एक्टिव रहेंगे, अगर हम लोग नाम से जानेंगे, then we will be just say you will be available for us to hire. So if we know you, you have higher chances of getting hired. If we know you, you have higher chances to present yourselves in the front of the industry members. And you can also see the ISHRE Ahmedabad chapter YouTube channel, which has 72 videos, out of which more than 60 videos are of technical presentations on different topics. उन टॉपिक्स को आप रेफर कर सकते हैं, आपके इंटरव्यूज में काम आ सकता है, आप अपने लास्ट ईयर के प्रोजेक्ट्स उनसे इंस्पिरेशन ले सकते हैं. यू कैन कॉन्टैक्ट द पीपल, यू कैन जस्ट क्लियर योर डाउट्स ऑन दैट. सो ISHRE is greatly helpful for you in making your career. I myself is an example. I was a student member. I was taken to Mumbai with Gaurav Patel bhai, who is also present over here. He was the senior most student we had, and we have learned a lot from people in ISHRE. I have been the member since 2013. अब मुझे 8 साल हो चुके हैं यहाँ पर और मैंने अपने लाइफ में काफ़ी ज़्यादा डिफरेंस फील किया है. आई हैव ग्रूम्ड माई पर्सनालिटी लुकिंग एट पीपल, looking at the seniors, and looking like they gave us the opportunity to present ourselves. So yes, please take inspiration of your last year projects from the Ishre YouTube channel projects, and you may contact everyone whosoever is available. Try doing it. You will surely get a benefit of your membership in Ishre. Thank you.
Thanks, Siddharth. In fact, our president and president-elect is also started their journey with student membership. So we should also look into the opportunities Israel can provide. And let me come to the question answer session. I'll invite all the participants to post their questions on the chat box, or you can ask directly in Q&A tab. I'll I will read your questions and ask to the particular speaker. So please write in the chat box or question answer tab. And believe me, whatever you have learned today, that will be not available in normal refrigerating and air conditioning textbooks. So whatever you have gained today, that will be a practical knowledge, and that is used in HVAC industry. So you are lucky students that you have joined this session, and definitely this will help in your understanding of HVAC and refrigeration knowledge. So if you have any questions, you write in the chat box. Or okay, one question. No questions. Do you have any questions? So otherwise we can move to further programming. I'll wait 1 minute. If you have any questions, you just ask or raise your hand. I'll ask directly to the participants. Okay, apart from that, we have wonderful opportunity for students for research projects, and you can also look at the your faculty members who is involved in ISRE chapter. You can ask them to provide that information, so you can also to participation in that. Okay, so keep aware about all the opportunities ISRE can provide. Okay, one question from Soham Rami is that, okay, I want to ask, let me ask Gaurang Patel. He want to know about the some basic of VRF system. So can you please guide in 1 minute or that?
Yeah, sure. See, when we say VRF system, so it is like the full form of the VRF is variable refrigerant flow. Okay. Let me just share my screen where I was presenting, and so that I can come to that to the slide. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we are able to see.
Yes, Gaurav.
Okay. So this is what particular slide was there. So what happens, like in your case of your split ACs, which are normally we are using at our home, or the widely acceptable one like 1 ton, 1.5 ton, or 2 ton units, they have one limitations, like they are need to be placed between the distance between the indoor and outdoor should be 15 feet, or max to max 20 feet. Beyond that, they are not allowing us to put the, because there is limitation in terms of the compression design. Secondly, they are like earlier split ACs are the fixed speed compressors was there. So what has to happens, like they used to start and they used to stop. So like if you are putting your set point temperature as a 24 degree, so they try to reach the 24 degree, and they try to reach at 22 degree, then the compressor will get off, and once the temperature rise up and reaches to 26, the compressor starts. So there was only two mode for the compressor to achieve the temperature, that is start and stop only. Okay, So whenever the starts and stop happens, it consumes more power, because whenever the compressor starts, it consumes more energy. Okay. Secondly, it also gives a discomfort between the on and off time, because when the compressor is off, you're not getting the cooling effect. Okay, so you're also getting a discomfort there. Now, in case of VRF, what they had done, like they had tried to overcome the limitations of the normal split ACs. In case of split ACs, there will be like one indoor, one outdoor. So if you are having a 10 indoor, for example, you are doing a one bungalow, and there are 10 different areas, you're putting 10 split ACs, you need to put 10 outdoor units. And that becomes very challenging for any of the persons to place 10 outdoor units within a distance of 15 feet without compromising the elevations. Okay. So in case of VRF, you can connect multiple number of indoor units. So for example, the sketch given here, like you can see multiple number of indoor units are connected with a single outdoor units. So one benefit. Second benefit, the amount of length of piping. So this can go up to 1,000 meters. Okay, this can go up to 1,000 meters. So there is no limitation in terms of length of piping. So for example, if you are having a 10-story building, the ground floor you are doing AC, and you can put your outdoor on a terrace without having any impact on a cooling capacity. So that is another benefit of VRF system. The third benefit is a variable refrigerant flow. So what is that meant for is, it happens what, like when you are running your you are designing your system, you are designing on a peak capacity. So you are assuming that outside temperature is 43 degree, and you are maintaining 23 degree, 24 degree inside your room. But that is not the all time case. In the morning hours, in the evening hours or night hours, or in the month of March, August, September, the outside temperature is not 43 degree or 44 degree. So at that time, your compressors, like you had designed for 2 ton a room, but at that time that doesn't require 2 ton capacity. At that time, that may requires 1 ton capacity only. So in case of VRF system, the compressors are designed to run on a variable capacity, and they consumes only 1 ton power only. They run the compressor on a reduced capacity and consume the lower power. So that's why, like, they also are more energy efficient compared to the normal split ACs.
Thank you very much, Gaurang Patel bhai. And I like to ask, okay, one question. We will look the energy efficiency tag in our domestic AC unit, and it shows electric consumption. Okay, okay, maximum or set parameter. Okay. For these, Harsh, for your question, we have one video available on YouTube, our channel. You can go to our ISRE Ahmedabad chapter. Your question is basically how energy efficiency in AC is calculated and how it is showing. So we have one video on Energy Conservation Day. You can check that video, and you will. I hope you will get your answer. And before finishing this program, I like to encourage all the student members to join ISRE. I have started my journey with ISRE since last after in 2012, and all our speakers have put weightage on becoming member. So definitely it will help you in your student career and in professional career also. I like to thank our first speaker, Aditi Shah. Madam is first president, woman president in ISRE Ahmedabad chapter. Thank you very much. She has covered very nicely about the growth opportunity in HVAC&R, and she talked about ISRE, how various options and career opportunities are available for students. I also like to thank our second speaker, Mr. Gaurang Patel, who introduced about basics of air conditioning and various kind of air conditioning technologies. I like to thank him. And I like to also thank Siddharth Vyas, who introduced about 1 degree campaign, and Shailendra Vyasar also, who is participated in this event to motivate us. The 1 degree campaign is brainchild of his mind. And thank you very much. And I'll also like to thank faculty members, Swati Madam, Jatin Patel sir, and other faculty members who have joined and promoted this program. Thank you very much. Mainly our student participants who have participated in this program. Thank you. Our program team, Hardik Shukla sir, who is working very hard on the student our student chapter ahead in all across India. Hardik Shukla sir, Sunil Bhatia ji, Rajendra Bhai from Israel office, and Ruchir Parikh, who is our student chair. So I like to thank all of them, and whoever I miss, I apologize to I have not mentioned. And thank you very much. Keep participating Israel events. You can also look Israel Ahmedabad chapter on YouTube channel. You will get many more insights compared to your normal books. You will see the practical insights, and it will help you in understanding better HVAC&R. Thank you very much to participate. And we have one program on 24th about geothermal cooling. And I encourage all student members who are student members of Israel Ahmedabad chapter to register on that program. And this topic is very much interested for research kind of things, geothermal cooling. Very innovative, and speaker is very high, having a very high profile. He was past president in entire Israel headquarters. So I encourage all student members to participate that event, register, and thank you very much. We'll see you soon in our next programs. Keep joining, join, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Gaurav bhai. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Gaurav.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great day. Take care.